So today we're doing what we may call the yacht series on the Recruiting on the Rocks podcast. And so we have a bit of a unique location. We're in beautiful Wrightsville Beach on a more than wonderful, beautiful day. We are on the back of a yacht, which you may or may not be able to tell. And as always, we're going to taste bourbons. This time we're going to attempt to blind taste 3 of them at 3 different price points. So let's get at it. Our guests on this episode are Cory Evans and Jason Daube, who are co-founders of Clinware, which is an exciting, fast-growing startup in the Triangle area. And so welcome, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Jason, I hope I said your last name right.
Sounds good.
Okay, close enough, right? Why don't we do one question and then get into this? I've got to be careful. We have an event, as y'all know, this evening, and I'm doing 3 of these beforehand, and we're tasting bourbon. So if you don't see me at the event, you'll know it didn't go well. So bear with me. So we like to have people on the podcast that aren't your typical people, and what I mean is maybe you're a little under the radar, at least for now. We have some investors people don't have access to on here sometimes. We just had Rich Lee on here, who's got a great background that a lot of people don't know about. So I think of you guys kind of that way as well. And this is a discussion more than an interview. With that said, I do want you guys to kind of educate people, talk a little bit about Clinware, why Clinware exists, why now. Talk a little bit about that, if you will, and you guys can kind of jump back and forth together, however you want to do it.
Great. Well, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity. Yeah. And certainly it's we feel like we're at a real exciting time just because the adoption of AI is more receptive, especially in the healthcare industry. And timing seems to be a little bit of everything right now. And so when we first started, Jason and I are co-founders with Jeff Daube. And when we started this company, we were just trying to solve real world pain points within post-acute care, specifically skilled nursing facilities. And so what I observed as 25 years of experience starting out as a clinician and getting into operations and compliance, I saw some legitimate reasons that we need to utilize AI to really drastically reduce manual processes. And so when I had those pain points, I went to Jason and his team and said, hey, we have an opportunity here to solve some of these for the broader market.
Yeah, and what's great about this is I was always in enterprise technology, so I'd hear from Cory about how manual skilled nursing and assisted living and home health care is with operational processes. And when he would describe these challenges, which became our opportunities, we can apply technology and advanced AI to automate, help these nurses and administrators in these facilities to, have them get more time to spend with their patients, providing better care, which is ultimately leading into our mission. And we've developed some really, really cool technology that's now end-to-end from the hospital system, all the U.S. hospital systems, all the way to the electronic health record system they use to manage the patients in their buildings.
Okay, well, of course, we can't have a podcast, as I say, I think every time now, without talking about AI. And we got right into it right out of the gate.
Yes.
Talk a little bit more about that from, are you guys AI native? Are you just implementing AI into the solution? Talk a little bit more about how important it is for the industry, and how is the industry doing? Are you guys like, hey, we can conquer the world because they're lagging behind years, or are you trying to keep up? Are you right in the sweet spot? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so from an AI perspective, there's 2 main things. One, we can build our application and customer features faster because of AI. And 2, the entire infrastructure and all the processing of, like, let's say reading 500-page hospital documents on one patient is now not an hour of an administrator's time. It's now under 60 seconds with Clinware. And it gives you all those advanced clinical and reimbursement intelligent insights so they can make better decisions. Patients that have better fit from the buildings, they make more money, ultimately benefiting their company. And so we're using AI in every facet of our application. One follow-up answer is we are AI native. So myself, Jeff, our CTO, and all of our engineers, we actually were the ones that built the first AI at Red Hat, MetLife, Coinbase, and Yahoo. So we all come from enterprise tech, and we're now just applying it in the healthcare industry, and it's working really well.
Okay, good. Well, as I joke around each time, let's do the important stuff. Let's taste a bourbon here. Cheers.
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 You notice your pores are bigger than mine, as it should be. Yeah.
Yeah,
not
very
bad.
good.
Very good.
I like that one.
All right, good. All right. So, one of the things I wanted to cover with you guys, because you guys, I see you guys everywhere together. You're presenting together. Presume you're talking to clients together. I mean, I know part of what we talked about is you guys are just getting crushed in a good way, right? Because there's so many exciting things going on with Clinware and where you are in the industry and all that. Talk about picking a partner, co-founder, COO, CEO. For you, Cory, what's kind of the decision thinking in your head to say, hey, Jason's the one? And Jason, for you, what's in your decision process to say, hey, this is a CEO that I can get behind and work with and work for?
Yeah. Well, coincidentally enough, Jason and I have actually known each other for 15 years.
Okay.
And we moved across the street from each other and started, being friends. Our kids are friends, our wives are friends. And, so for the last 15 years, we were at very different spectrums from an employment standpoint where our careers were going. But we had a real good bond from our relationship, but also our families. And then when I had this, pain point that I wanted to solve for skilled nursing facilities, I sought Jason out because of that trust and that relationship. And I knew his business acumen and especially when it comes to AI and technology and what he had done in some of these other enterprise companies that he would describe to me, at times, whether it was in the cul-de-sac or at the pool. Yeah. And I always thought it was so cool. And so when I had my, pain points that I wanted to solve, I thought the first person that came to mind was Jason. Yeah. So when I went to him and love for him to kind of tell the other part of the story, but it was an easy decision for me based on that.
And I'm going to go at it on a completely different angle. And I'm going to describe it this way. At Clinware, we have a very definitive culture as like employees and people serving the healthcare industry. It's results-driven, clear communications, efficient execution, and continuous improvement. And to me, one of the most important ones is continuous improvement. And so when I was listening to Cory and hearing his problems, all the manual operations and post-acute care, I was actually thinking and hearing that, but really relating it to how do we become like turbocharged with feedback and everything we do, and we share in that quality. And I've known that about Cory for years. Like, we just work so well together from a complementary standpoint. Like, he has deep healthcare knowledge, I have deep technology and operations knowledge. When you put that together and you both listen and Cory, do this, Jason, do this, you could do this better, I could do this better. We just hear that from our customers, and we just get better all the time.
Yeah, we talk about that in our business with the customers, is a lot of the great things that you benefit from you can't really see.
Yeah.
There's the things there, the fact that y'all have that bond, and it sounds like, yes, you got to have the expertise and experience, but that trust, and obviously you got to get along, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have to get along because the wives, the kids, you guys are forced to get along, right? So that's a nice little bond there, but it's pretty cool to have that dynamic where you go in and it's not like a hire. It's really, hey, this is a no-brainer. Let's talk about strategy and get going and get rolling kind of thing. Okay. All right. Let's taste another one.
Wow, when I think about Fredericksburg, I just think about the traffic between there and getting to DC or up north.
And see, that's why you stop there. You need that
Yeah.
to prepare for what's coming.
Right.
I now have a better vision of Bowman now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I like that. All right. So let's take this a little bit further in your thinking about, you being two of the people on the leadership team. Maybe Jeff's included in this too that you mentioned. But, there is often a shelf life for CEOs, even COOs, where, okay, he was a great founder. He's a good leader at this stage. He's a good CEO at this stage. And then, there becomes a different stage in the company where you went from $1 million ARR to 22 million ARR. And you may or may not be the right leaders at that point. Does that even come into mind when you're thinking about working together, or are you thinking more 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and like we'll see what happens there?
I think that's all dependent on the people that you are. And I think at the end of the day, what Jason and I really love is an opportunity to get around those that have the knowledge and maybe the experience that we have not. And what we hear from a lot of our board members and even our customers is you guys are very coaching. You listen.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, you're never going to come in as a startup, especially Jason and I. This is our first startup. We have depth of knowledge of our experience and our backgrounds, but that doesn't necessarily just equate uniformly to doing a startup.
Yeah.
And what we've done strategically is we've gotten with those individuals that have had startups, that have done what we've done, and we go to them and say, tell us, we're at this inflection point in our business. What do we do? So one of the things that we really hang our hat on as leaders in this company, we owe it to our employees to be coachable.
Yeah.
Just as much as we expect them to be coachable, we also have to be coachable. So we really seek a multitude of counselors.
Yeah, and I tell people, entrepreneurs, you've got to be open and flexible enough to take that coaching and also savvy enough to sort through it.
Right.
Because if you get it from 12 different people, they can't all be right. And,
Right.
and you're looking for patterns and trying to figure out which pieces of advice you take and don't take. So I love that. So with that said, kind of a nice segue, you come from some high growth companies, maybe not at the startup stage, Coinbase, Red Hat. You come out of industry with tons of experience. What's kind of been the biggest challenge as a true, starting from scratch startup? What have been some of the highlights, maybe high and low, right? Because we all know it's this, right?
Right.
I could tell you the biggest thing, there's a lot of similarities with the work and the way you do things, but the biggest difference for me is when I work with Yahoo or even just most recently Coinbase, and you walk in the door, they have an electronic record processing system. They've got ticketing system. They've got their HR system. They have everything in place. You may be coming in to help make that better or give feedback, but it's established. At Clinware, starting our business from the ground up, we have to do all that due diligence, all the analysis, the selection. We have to put it in place. We then have to manage it. We got to write how-to guides so that people we hire know how to do things and use them, because it may be different from their company. You basically go from, I'm really great at this field and my expertise, to then now I have to be the IT person and the HR person and wear some accounting hats on occasion. And that's been a big learning curve, but it's been super rewarding and a great learning experience.
And I think what's really interesting is you peel back that onion. One of the things Jason has just really coached a lot of us in this organization to do is ruthless prioritization.
Nice.
That everything can't be at the top importance, because if it is, you're going to water down your effectiveness. What are the things that you have to prioritize that hour, that day, that week, that month? And I think when you look at it from that perspective, there's so many different ways that you can approach opportunities within the company or tasks that you have to accomplish. It's just making sure that you're putting the most important things at the top, and then you're working that list down. And a lot of times you're reorganizing this, and this is what we've learned
Constantly.
on an hourly basis, on a daily basis. You don't realize until you are the person that's running HR and I'm doing accounting on top of everything else. And, those priorities change even in 5 minutes. Yeah. And just having that, kind of like in Semper Fidelis, it's Semper Gumby. Are you always flexible?
Yeah.
Just you have to be. You can't be hardened up. This is the way I'm going to go. I think the biggest thing is we're flexible.
Okay.
And
That's
we
huge.
Ruthlessly prioritized coming on the yacht today and tasting the bourbon with you, Craig.
That was some good prioritization. I'm grateful for that prioritization. Let's taste the third one. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay.
So do we vote on which one we like?
Hey,
Yes,
we
is
can.
that-
We
yeah?
absolutely can.
I think I know where my pit stop is now on 95.
I
Well,
think
there you
I
go.
agree.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe I'll send this to them. And since you picked them, and we'll just pick them as a group, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we continue talking about that entrepreneurial journey and the piece that we were just talking about laser focus and prioritization and all that, how do you keep, along those same lines, the kiss of death oftentimes for startups is, hey, this is applicable to healthcare, but we also can do this industry and this industry. And I'm always like, yeah, you really need to be, once again, laser focused and have a priority on, make this industry go well. And if you get to other industries, I mean, I'm not sure healthcare, you need to go anywhere else. But did that come into play with y'all, or did you just know we're going to stay laser focused in that way as well?
100%. We had a lot of opportunities, especially with Jason and him and Jeff with their AI tech backgrounds. Mm-hmm. There has been such a fever pitch for people to solve so many, manual processes using AI. And this kind of goes back to the coaching part of it. Tony Addy is one of our board members. Mm-hmm. And when we sat with him, he says, the one thing I will coach you guys on right now is, you want to stay linear focused. You want to solve this one pain point. Don't get distracted by doing even though your platform could solve many issues across the healthcare spectrum, stay in this lane and just go after this market. Yeah. And I think it was one of those defining moments in the company, because Jason was getting reached out by, hey, we could hire you guys and do a contract for this much money. And it was like, wow, we could do that. We could infuse it in the business, and we could go over here and we could segue these guys. And then we realized really quickly after talking to Tony, like, no, let's not get distracted. Let's stay linear focus.
Well, and he's good. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and he's been through a lot, like everybody other entrepreneur and somebody running a company. So that's good advice from good source.
Yeah. And the only other thing I'll add to that, and that was a particularly hard point, to say no to other businesses that wanted to pay us to do similar work and stay laser focused on Clinware and post-acute care. But the one thing that I think separates us from a lot of other companies in our space is we deeply focus on getting our customer feedback early. And I know all tech companies say this, but we embody it every day. So I'll give you an example. Big customer, 50 facilities across the country, comes to us and says, I want you to build this. We listen to them, take notes, rapidly deploy a prototype that's working, let them interact with it, get their feedback, bring it back, build, test, deploy, and then continuously get more and more feedback and take it from our other customers, and then it rapidly gets better. If we took the time to just carefully think through ourselves and then deliver it and then ask for it, we wouldn't be as strong, and it allows us to go faster, which is really, really cool from a feature-rich perspective in our company. So,
well, Jason, I know with your HR technology background, that you probably had, hey, we could do this in HR as one of those. And when you're done at Clinware, I have some ideas and thoughts, and since I play in that world, and there's a lot of things we could solve there in the future. We'll make you a board member.
You'll consult.
So,
that's right.
Anything you guys want to say? We'll kind of wrap it up here. I appreciate you coming on, and grateful for the time as always, and I've enjoyed getting to know you guys. Anything you want to say to investors, employees, the crew here that's helping us so much, Rich with his boat, anything you guys want to end with?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we appreciate the opportunity to be on this podcast with you, Craig. I mean, we've only known each other for a number of months, but we've had many opportunities where we've gotten a chance to engage and opportunity to work together. So we appreciate that. And certainly we appreciate Rich giving us the opportunity to be here together with, the other investors and other business owners, and, just have a casual night on the boat for sure. But ultimately, I mean, I think Jason, I feel like, deep in our soul that not only were we committed to, helping our customers, because ultimately they will deliver better care as a result of using our software, but we love and adore our employees, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be sitting here. Yeah. That's a reality. And they are some of the best genuine individuals I've ever worked with. And it's just an honor to be a leader of this organization.
Well, I love that, because Jason, you kind of said this earlier, everybody says it, and not everybody does it and lives it, and you guys are living it. And I've been able to see that already, which is kind of fun and exciting and energizing and all of those things. And I know your team appreciates it. So, yeah
great.
Good. Enjoyed it.
Thank
That was
you
fun.
so much.
It's an honor to be here.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
At the end of every episode of Recruiting on the Rocks, we like to highlight a nonprofit or a charity to give them some exposure, and it's an easy way for us to give back to the community. And in this episode, we would like to highlight able to serve.